of the coin. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-4, and I know Bucs fans don't want to hear this, but they're probably better than their record would indicate. And since the bye week that they had a couple of weeks ago, their pass offense has been on fire, Mike.
Yeah, I was disappointed in Josh Freeman a year ago. 16 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. I thought he regressed. However, I think with Vincent Jackson's arrival this year, he's become a different football player. Vincent Jackson, 6'5", 230 pounds. Whenever he gets single coverage, Josh Freeman will identify and attack, and Vincent Jackson is a big play wide receiver.
Josh Freeman on the sideline. Tonight's game available in HD and Spanish on your SAP channel. As always, the crowd already into it here in Minneapolis. Greg Schiano, his first year in the National Football League as a head coach. Leslie Frazier, his third full season as the Vikings head man. Tampa Bay won the toss, and they deferred. So one of the most dangerous return men, as Mike said, in all of football is back deep. Michael Kaning's got it teed up. Two old rivals back when it was the NFC Central Division. Now one from the south, one from the north. And we're underway. Percy Harvin won't have a chance at this one as it almost made the stands. The Vikings will go to work from the 20-yard line. How did they get here? A win in overtime over Jacksonville in the season opener. That was a good sign. They stunned San Francisco. That shocked everybody around the league. 24-13. And beating the Cardinals a week ago to improve to 5-2. And as I mentioned, 2 games better than all of 2011. So Ponder and the Vikings work from the 20.
I think they really want to get him comfortable early. His confidence is a little shaken. Let's see if he can get some completions that are easy to get to.
Play action. Ponder already pressured and asked to throw it away. And Michael Bennett got the heat on him on the first snap of the ball game. So they tried to get him a pass completed on play action on the first snap of the ball game, and that one blew up on him.
And remember, Tampa Bay's been one of the worst play action teams on first down in the league, so it was pretty obvious that Minnesota was going to attack him early, and a good play that time by Eric Wright.
Now the Vikings go back to an I backfield with Felton, the fullback.
Do it.
He'll lead the way for Adrian Peterson. Peterson, couple of moves in the hole, spins his way out for almost 8 yards. Eric Wright made the stop. Wow. And just remarkable what Adrian Peterson's been able to do after major knee surgery. Injured that knee on Christmas Eve last year against the Redskins. And it's just almost unbelievable that he's back to this stage right now.
Yeah, he told us that, 4 months after surgery, he knew he was ready to go. And,
wow.
and Brad, by the way, Daquan Bowers activated today off the PUP list in for passing situations after a torn Achilles last May.
He's in there right now with Percy Harvin in motion. Ponder going to throw it out to Harvin. He overshot him. And had he caught that, Rondé Barber might have lit him up anyway. So the Vikings are 3 and out.
Rondé Barber, obviously they're trying to get the football to Harvin any way they can. Cut block on Bowers, bad throw. 0 for 2, not a good start for a young quarterback with some potential confidence issues.
Roscoe Parrish, 7 years with Buffalo. Only played in a couple of games last year, but he is dangerous as a return man as well. He misplayed this one a little bit and takes a Tampa bounce. We got a penalty marker down at the 30-yard line. Only a 37-yard punt.
I think we might have a hold on one of the gunners going against Tampa Bay. Leslie Frazier, head coach of the Vikings.
Here's a call from Ron Winter.
Dirty kick. Holding number 29, the receiving team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
See Leonard Johnson from Iowa State, the rookie. Not only did he hold him, he got him up in the face mask also.
And negates some pretty good field position and backs him up to the 20-yard line. And immediately the crowd at Mall of America Field comes to life for their defense. backfield. Doug Martin, the rookie for Tampa Bay, the tailback. And he'll get the carry. And he only got a yard or two. Tampa Bay coming off a loss to New Orleans, where they had a big lead on their 2-4 season, though, beating the Panthers in their season opener. Got off to a good start. And an NFC South battle. Lost their next 3 games by a combined 15 points. And all 4 of their losses by only 22 points total. Last week, very disappointing, but they really have showed offensively that they're in gear right now the last couple of weeks. Second down and 8. Michael Williams in motion. Play action bootleg for Freeman. Double clutches, throws complete, but the Vikings are all over. Mike Williams maybe got a yard out of the deal.
Yeah, they were hoping off play action to take a vertical shot. That's how they get the football down the field. But Harrison Smith, the rookie first-round pick out of Notre Dame, was over top of the vertical route, and he had to check it down.
He's been an unbelievable addition to the Viking defense.
Everybody we talked to in their building talked about Harrison Smith, the difference it makes not just in the secondary, but the entire defense.
First third down of the ball game for Tampa. And they're only 29% on the season on their third down conversions. Freeman throws to the sideline. Williams broke his route off, the pass way over his head, and it's 3 and out for Tampa.
You know, they ran Harrison Smith right under that route. Josh Freeman's got to see it. He can't watch Harrison Smith sprint underneath the route. I don't understand why Josh Freeman doesn't see it. He's double teamed. You can't throw this route. They've got him under and over. That plays counterfeit before the ball's even snapped.
Caney to punt. And that's Marcus Sherrills back deep for Minnesota. And he, like Percy Harvin, a dangerous return man in his own right. Great kick. It goes out of bounds. Maybe not so great. Depends on how far they walk up that sideline. No score early in Minneapolis between the Bucs and the Vikings. Second offensive series for the Vikings. And they'll start this time at the 33-yard line. First series at 3 and out and 2 incompletions by Christian Ponder. And as Mike said, not the way they wanted to get their young quarterback off for the start tonight. Kyle Rudolph, the tight end, shifts to the right side, and on first down it's Adrian Peterson. And he moves the pile out for about 5 yards behind the offensive line for the Vikings that features a rookie at left tackle. That's a tough spot, but he's done a great job with it. Khalil Johnson, Sullivan, Fusco, and Lodeholt. Backs and receivers for Minnesota. Felton, the fullback, Peterson, the tailback, Harvin and Simpson, the wideouts, and Rudolph, the tight end. Right now, Minnesota goes to 3 wide receivers, though, as Michael Jenkins joins the group. Second down and 5 for Ponder in the shotgun. Going to throw it deep down the sideline, and his receiver broke his pattern off, and E.J. Biggers had a better play on the ball than anybody else.
And that's the concern with Jerome Simpson, number 81 for the Vikings. He's a wonderfully gifted guy. Now, against press coverage, he's going to run a fade, but E.J. Biggers went press bail, meaning press. He bailed out early, and I give the wide receiver Simpson credit that time for breaking the route.
This time it comes to the near side on third down and 5. Bucs bring everybody up close, and they bring the heat on Ponder. He's trying to get rid of it. Does. They just threw it away. Had to. Rondé Barber coming on the blitz, among others.
Ugly start, I'll tell you. You're going to see 2 Buck players come through the same hole. Watch here, and then right behind. Come down, they miss both of them. Left tackle comes down. That's the rookie, Matt Khalil. Charlie Johnson, the guard, stepped down. That was a pass protection bust. Ponder had no chance.
So another 3 and out, Minnesota. Kluwe set to punt again. Now this one's off the side of his foot.
Boy.
And that one looked about as bad as the first 2 series for Minnesota. And the Boo Birds are already out.
UGLY, you ain't got no alibi.
Whoa.
It's ugly.
11:36 remaining first quarter. 20-yard punts. Christian Ponder off to a bad start. The Bucs on offense when we come back. Sunday is game day on NFL Network. In this case, Thursday night football on NFL Network. And the Bucs picked up about 22 yards on that exchange of punts, and they've got good field position working from their own 42-yard line. Freeman off play action. Stands tall, goes over the middle, and it's dropped incomplete. Doug Martin, the rookie tailback, doesn't hold it.
So far, we haven't seen real crisp play at the quarterback position. That time the ball was thrown behind the tailback, Doug Martin, who was wide open. Got two young quarterbacks, Brad, I think are all juiced up tonight. You just need to calm down a little bit.
They're combined 1 for 7 right now between Freeman and Christian Ponder. Second down and 10. Draw play. Martin trying to weave his way through traffic and does. Across midfield. Martin down the sideline. All the way inside the 20. Chris Cook ran him down, or it might have been a touchdown.
I think Doug Martin runs this play as well as any young rookie I've seen in a long time. Watch Laurie go on the lead draw. The fullback gets up in the hole, and now watch the hesitation and the cut. Cuts off Laurie all the way back to his left. Now has the speed and the acceleration to get to the sidelines. Remember, Tampa Bay took Mark Barron in the top 10, then traded back up into the first round to take that young man, and he's played exceptionally well for the Buccaneers.
So the Boise State rookie gets a breather, but he picked up a career-long 41 yards to the Minnesota 17. Freeman now in an empty backfield. Over the middle this time. He throws a strike. Complete. Down to the 10-yard line to Underwood. Pickup of 7.
Underwood's an interesting story. He played for Greg Schiano at Rutgers and came in as a free agent to camp this summer, and they cut him on the final cut. Couple of injuries. He comes back later, and remember, he runs 4.35.
And he'd run even faster if he didn't have that hairdo that he's got.
His hairdo is a little amazing. We'll get a peek at that later.
Second down and 3, just outside the Viking 10. 2 tight ends set for the Bucs here. Threatening on their second possession. That's Williams in motion. The quick throw is batted down by Minnesota. Robinson got a hand on it.
I really like the development of Brian Robinson. His 6th year out of Texas. Coming off the edge here, working against Demar Dotson. Sees the 3-step. Nice job understanding what's happening. Somebody's got to cut him. I think Dotson's got to come out and cut him right in the knees and get those hands down.
Vikings would like to force a field goal attempt. And Minnesota takes a timeout. So both sides will have time to talk about this upcoming third down. 9:55 first quarter scoreless. It went from about 75 2 days ago to snowing today.
And nobody would know the weather like a native like you.
There you go. Red zone offense been pretty good for Tampa Bay. They got a third down and 3 just outside the Minnesota 10. Freeman looks left, goes to the corner of the end zone. Overshot Mike Williams, who was looking for a flag and doesn't get one. So that's a win of sorts for the Viking defense as they'll force a field goal after that long run by Martin.
Good job by Chris Cook, the corner, 3rd-year guy out of Virginia. Takes away the inside, then runs underneath. I like the fact that he got his head on a swivel, took a peek. Mike Williams wanted a call, but no way. That was really good coverage by Chris Cook.
Connor Barth hasn't missed inside 40 in a long time. This one will be from 28 yards out. Caney to hold. The snap was high, but he got it down, and the kick's good. So at 9:48 remaining in the first quarter, Tampa Bay gets on the board first. Minnesota trying to find their offense. We'll see if Adrian Peterson and company can find some when we come back. So the drive for Tampa Bay, they didn't have to go far. 48 yards in 6 plays. The key play, the 41-yard run by Doug Martin that got him down in field goal range. The Vikings so far, first 2 series, 6 plays, 13 yards. Not good.
Nope. 2 3-and-outs. I think you're going to see a lot of Adrian Peterson coming up.
And again, both these kickers don't give a lot of chances to the return man. Let's check in third member of our team, Alex Flanagan. Alex.
Hey, Brad. Well, right behind me, you can see the defensive end, Daquan Bowers, who just hours ago was activated off the physically unable to perform list. As Mike mentioned, he suffered an Achilles tear back in May. I spoke to him before this game. He said he was very anxious to get back on the field. He could be kind of one of the missing pieces of the puzzle for Tampa Bay's defense. As you guys know, second-year player out of Clemson. If there's one thing he can do well, it is get after the quarterback and sack him.
And they've already put some good pressure on Christian Ponder tonight. Adrian Peterson. And Peterson goes for 4. They'll bring up second down and 6. Tampa Bay also without Adrian Claiborne, of course, one of their stars on the defensive front. But here's who they do have. And the linebacking core with a rookie in there out of Nebraska and a good one. And on the back end, the ageless wonder, Rondé Barber, 37 years young.
We've got 2 future Hall of Fame defensive backs in this game between Winfield and Barber, and I'm just amazed at how well they're playing at ages 35 and 7.
Percy Harvin in the backfield gets the carry, but he's not going anywhere. Roy Miller, one of those defensive tackles, made the stop and a loss of 1.
I'm really impressed with Roy Miller and how he's played. He's going to play this tilt nose and be able to get across. And they're one of the defenses. He crosses the face of Sullivan, which can't happen. They're one of the slanting fronts in football. And Brad, they've got 28 negative runs on the season. That's number 1 in the NFL. It's because they move their front so aggressively. And there's the right tackle load hole jumping off.
The Vikings making it tough on themselves.
Full start. Offense number 7. A 5-yard penalty. It remains third down.
Brad, you know, we were talking about Roy Miller, the nose tackle, and you know who he reminds me a little bit of is Jay Ratliff in his prime in Dallas. Kind of an undersized, quick nose tackle that gets up the field and makes plays. He's really been active the last year and a half.
Since he came into the league, there's no defensive tackles in the league that have had more tackles than he has.
And next to him is Gerald McCoy, when healthy, one of the better defensive tackles in football.
3rd and a dozen for Minnesota. Ponder rolls, throws, incomplete. Michael Jenkins, the intended receiver. And as Leonard Johnson on the coverage. Oh, it's not going so well for Christian Ponder here early in the first quarter.
Yeah, nobody's open. Jerome Simpson, who's the guy that's got to find a way to win one-on-one. Look at the coverage in here. He was not looking at Harvin. He was going the other way. He was looking to this side right here. See, Michael Jenkins, like Velcro. The tight end, like Velcro. Somebody's got to win against man-to-man or your rookie quarterback's in trouble.
Kluwe's last punt was a dud. He's inside his own 5-yard line. And they're going to blow this dead.
Man.
False start. Offense number 55. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
Marvin Mitchell with a penalty, and now Kluwe's going to be punting from his own end zone. And Tampa Bay got pretty good pressure on him the last time. If I'm Kluwe, I get this and kick it. Roscoe Parrish back inside his 30. And you look at Kluwe from behind. Again, not the greatest punt. Parrish takes it on the fly and dropped it. Let's see who's got it. Right near midfield. If they ever get him unpiled, we'll know.
I thought Andrew Sendejo had a shot at that, number 34 for the Vikings. Don't know if he ultimately got it, or who knows, at the bottom of that pile, it could have changed hands 3 times.
Tampa Bay ball.
Wow. Boy, just a poor job judging the football. Part of the ball hit him in the face mask. There it is loose. I thought Sendejo had it, but he lost it. really good job. I didn't see who came up with that.
I think Parrish
got
actually
it
came back up with it.
Well, if you're going to fumble it, you might as well get on it.
Exactly. We'll give him a couple of yards on the return that way. In Minnesota territory at the 48-yard line.
And that's not a guy you really want to be answering to on the sidelines either.
No.
Greg Schiano's a stickler for fundamentals.
Would the Bucs take a shot here from the 48 on first down? They might, if he gets a chance. High, incomplete, and then leveled after that incompletion.
Yeah, he had an opportunity to get that football to Vincent Jackson, but the pressure of Christian Ballard forced him to try and check it down. Two young quarterbacks that are kind of struggling, hanging in the pocket and making decisions.
Josh Freeman, who had his best year 2 seasons ago when he threw for almost 3,500 yards, had 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And then, as Mike said earlier, he regressed last year, trying to put it back, the pieces back together here in 2012. Draw play, no gain. Fred Evans made the first contact, and Chad Greenway cleaned up.
Fred Evans and Christian Ballard, who are part of the defensive line wave. See a little X stunt there. Greenway comes out. Jared Allen goes in, but the play was really made by Fred Evans.
So far, these two teams are a combined 0 for 5 on third down. Buccaneers 3rd and 10. 4 wideouts for Josh Freeman in the shotgun. Got leveled as he threw, but it's complete downfield to Vincent Jackson.
And I think Harrison Smith had a chance to make a play. See the pressure coming. You step up into the pocket. He takes a hit from Everson Griffin, but the ball's in the air. What happens is Harrison Smith tries to play behind. He goes behind thinking he's going to get the ball, but Vincent Jackson elevates so high he doesn't get a chance to get it. I think he's got to come in front of that ball.
Amazing how much he got on that pass. A big, strong guy. Otherwise, that thing's a lame duck out there in the middle of the field.
No doubt about it, and a great athletic catch by Jackson.
First down at the 22. Tampa Bay leading by 3. Here's a stretch play to LeGarrette Blount. And Blount gets to the 20. As we're under 6.5 minutes first quarter, absolutely nothing's gone right for the Vikings so far, and Tampa Bay's got something working again here on offense.
You know, Brad, we talked a little bit about how this Tampa team's better than their record might indicate, and there's been a complete culture change in their building. Greg Schiano comes in, and we did a game a year ago with Tampa Bay, and at that point in the season, a lot of the team had basically given up. Greg Schiano's a tough guy. There's a whole new program here. There's a new sheriff in town, and he's at the far end of the discipline scale, and the accountability is completely different this year.
Freeman on 2nd and 8. Got a man wide open in the flat. Minnesota meets Doug Martin, but he's going to pick up a first down. Yeah, to say that Greg Schiano is no nonsense would be a major understatement.
Yeah, and this is something that I think makes some sense here. A lot of pressure, check the football down. And I think a big difference in this Tampa Bay team is the ability of Doug Martin. Last week against New Orleans, he had 19 touches for 112, and he's really good coming out of the backfield and catching the football.
It's his 14th catch of the season out of that backfield. And it gives Tampa Bay a 1st and 10 just outside the Minnesota 11. Now it's a draw play. No gain on this one. Sanford from the secondary came up to make the first hit.
Brad, you mentioned earlier the numbers on Tampa Bay's offense in the red zone. They've been one of the best red zone teams in the league. Last time they got in the red zone, Minnesota forced a field goal. And the way that Minnesota's playing offensively, their defense has got to do that again here.
You're right. 2nd down at 10. 2 tight end set for the Bucs.
And Stocker's going out wide, and now you got Winfield on Stocker. That's a waste of Winfield. Tells you they're probably going to be in zone.
Freeman fires to the end zone. Caught at about the 1 by Dallas Clark, the other tight end.
Boy, that was a really good job by the quarterback. Good protection and an excellent read by Freeman. His inline tight end is going to read zone and sit down. Freeman gets good protection as they slide it to the right. He sees and drives the ball. Excellent job by both the offensive line in their protection scheme and the quarterback identifying the open receiver in zone.
First and goal at the 1-yard line. They had a situation like this last week and couldn't convert, and they're lost to New Orleans.
Yeah, they got pushed back badly last week in that goal line stand. Their offensive line got stood up and pushed back.
Play action. The lob to the corner. Touchdown. Eric Lorig, the fullback.
Really like the call. Really like the call by offensive coordinator Mike Sullivan. Struggled last week in short yardage. You've got a very aggressive defense, so use their aggression against them. Lorig off play action is coming here and then going out in the flat. Watch the linebackers in the secondary. Everybody's running in. Brad Nessler could have made that throw.
1 yard touchdown throw, capping a 48-yard drive in 8 plays, a little over 4.5 minutes for Tampa Bay. And for Josh Freeman, his 12th scoring toss of the year. Barth's extra point is good. Minnesota getting hammered here in the first quarter on their home field. Josh Freeman to his fullback. 10-0 Buccaneers. Eric Lorig, not used to being in the end zone. Former defensive player at Stanford. That's his first NFL touchdown. Does a little sit down there in the corner. Wake up with NFL AM, the only morning show dedicated to the NFL. Tomorrow morning, complete highlights and reaction from the players in tonight's games. And as always, we'll wake you up with a first look at the latest NFL news, info, and highlights. Don't miss NFL AM tomorrow and every weekday, 6 a.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network. Percy Harvin hasn't been able to touch it as a kick returner so far.
Or as an offensive player.
Or as an offensive player. Had 1 rush for almost nothing. Catches this one in the back of the end zone. 3 kickoffs, 3 touchbacks. Frustrating for a guy that's that good of a return man. So Josh Freeman caps off a 48-yard drive with a touchdown. 6 out of 11 so far. He was 4 for 4 in that drive to 4 different receivers. So far, Christian Ponder has got an 0 for going.
Yeah, you know, let's get Bill Sheridan, the defensive coordinator for Tampa Bay, some credit so far. But if you're a Minnesota fan, you've got to get 12 and 28 involved. Harvin and Peterson. It's easy to get Peterson involved because all you can do is turn around and hand it to him.
Which they do. Peterson across the 30. And a first down run by Adrian Peterson.
Really good job by the rookie first-round pick, Matt Khalil. Watch him collapse this down, and then Percy Harvin's going to come in and get a piece also. The cutback behind Khalil. Now Mark Barron, the first-round pick, misses him. Percy Harvin gets a block on the corner, and this guy is just ridiculously good.
He is.
I don't even have the words, Brad.
A lot of people don't. First down for Minnesota. Go back to the same guy. Adrian Peterson into the secondary again. 11 on the first carry. 11 on the next one.
He's one of the angriest runners I've ever seen. He reminds me of being a little kid and seeing Jim Brown for the Cleveland Browns. And I'm serious. He's got breakaway speed, but he's angry. All you get are elbows, knees. You don't get a chance of getting a good shot on this guy.
He's going to get a shot on you, too, at the end of every run. Back-to-back first downs. Play action. Ponder's going to take off with it. He'll be brought down after a short gain.
A good job by E.J. Biggers, and what a surprise. The guys in our truck actually have a little Jim Brown lined up for us.
Here's what you're talking about. Running angry.
Yeah, I mean, NFL films, when I hear that music, look at this guy run angry. Remember, track star, lacrosse star, Adrian Peterson, yeah, a little angry.
I think Adrian would like that comparison.
I think anybody would, right?
Quick slant. It's high, but it's caught. And the ball comes out. Fumble. Tampa's got it. The Bucs take over. Mason Foster, the linebackers, got it. And Jerome Simpson's the one that coughed it up.
They're trying to force feed Jerome Simpson because he's such a physically gifted kid. Working on Biggers. The ball's high. Now, he's got the football, and it's stripped. I think it was Rondé Barber that stripped it. Mason Foster comes up with it. But Jerome Simpson, if you want to play in this league, and remember, Cincinnati already let him go. He's a wonderfully physical specimen, but he's not consistent.
Originally, second-round draft choice of the Bengals in 08 was the number 46 overall choice. And Tampa Bay looking to take command here in the first quarter, already leading by 10.
I'd be worried about a shot here if I was the play-action shot.
They wanted to do that the last time they got the ball. That was in Minnesota territory. This is at their own 46. It'll be a counter to Martin following his blockers. And he puts his head down and rumbles for a first down.
DeMar Dotson, the right tackle, took over that job from Jeremy Trueblood in week 2. So you're going to see the tackle actually pull out on the counter, as you said, Brad. And again, for a young guy, I'm really surprised. Excuse me, that was Meredith, not Dotson. For a young running back, I'm really surprised at how patient Martin is. Let the hole develop, and when he saw it, man, it's patience to the hole, accelerate through the hole, and that's what Doug Martin did that time.
Buccaneers back in Viking territory at the 42-yard line with another first down, and already 55 yards on the ground for Martin. Here he comes on the draw. Cuts through inside the 40. Tough run down to the 35. I said to Greg Schiano yesterday, there's a little bit of Ray in him, meaning Ray Rice, who Greg had at Rutgers, and he said, he just smiled at us and said, I got to quit making that comparison, because that's a pretty tough thing for a kid to live up to, but he's got a little bit of that, doesn't he?
When he came out in last year's draft, the two guys who were my head, Brad, were Ray Rice and then the ultimate 22 comparison, Emmitt Smith. Built similarly, an ability to jump, cut laterally, toughness. I don't want to put him in that category. Obviously, he's a young man, but he's got a lot of ability.
We have no idea whether he can dance as well as Emmitt. Second down, long 2. And that one's thrown right into Robinson, who would have had an interception. Second time he's knocked one down tonight, and that one hit him right between the 9 and the 6, I think.
Yeah, if you're going to throw 3-step to that side, you've got to cut him. You can't go right at his knees, get his hands down. And it hit him between the 9 and the 6. DeMar Dotson's got to do a much better job than that effort. Now let's give Robinson some credit. Does a nice job fending it off and still getting up in the air. He's got more passes knocked down than any defensive back in this game.
Third down and a long 2. Jared Allen saying we're a guy short. They finally hustle out Aaron Henderson. And now timeout taken. So Tampa Bay takes its first timeout with maybe one play remaining in the first quarter. This is a very, very important third down coming up for the Vikings. They've held once and forced a field goal last time down. Tampa Bay got it down to first and goal, and they went play action. Didn't worry about what they did last week against New Orleans, not being able to get it in the end zone. But Minnesota can't afford to give up another touchdown here.
No, and they've been sloppy. Let's face it, the punt game off the side of the foot. Ponder has been sloppy. Simpson puts the ball on the ground, and the flip side is Tampa's taking advantage of it. And I really like that last drive by Tampa Bay. I thought their quarterback Freeman calmed down, made good decisions and throws.
Well, right now he's got a third down and a long 2. Four receivers set. Freeman gives it off inside. This is going to be close. Doug Martin, he's right about at the first down line. We'll find out if that's a first down or not. We played a quarter dominated by Tampa Bay on the road. Vikings trailing in their home building 10-0 at the end of one.
College football doubleheader live on ESPN America. As we approach the midway point of the season, it's a crucial week in the SEC. Tennessee will have their work cut out to get their first conference victory against South Carolina. Then, with both teams making great starts to the season, the Georgia-Florida rivalry promises to be as fierce as ever when the Bulldogs take on the Gators in Jacksonville. Coverage starts with College Game Day tomorrow at 1500 CET, live on ESPN America.
Start of the second quarter. Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan Mall of America Field at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, where the Vikings shut out in the first quarter. And Tampa Bay did get a first down on that last play of quarter number 1. Martin out of the 28. Aaron Henderson made the stop, pick up a 4.
Kid's got 8 carries for 69 yards, and I really like what Mark Dominic and Greg Schiano did on draft day. They took the 5th overall pick, traded it to Jacksonville for the 7th. There they took Mark Barron. Then they traded their 2nd and 4th round picks to get back up into the 1st round, and at 31 they get Doug Martin. And they hit 2 home runs with those picks. Martin now 8 carries for 69, and he's really carrying the load for them offensively.
Vikings did something similar, getting Harrison Smith and Khalil, the left tackle. 2 rookies that are starting. Freeman fires, completes. Underwood down to the 20. Pickup of 8 more. Robinson got back there to make the stop, but they moved the sticks.
Yeah, a real spacing problem there in the zone. I think Antoine Winfield jumped the inside route that Dallas Clark had, and there was a huge amount of space between the sub, Winfield, and the corner.
Freeman's mixing it up pretty good right now, Mike. 7 completions, 6 different receivers.
And he started out shaky, if you remember.
Yeah.
So take a shot soon.
Just outside the Minnesota 20. And flags fly.
Yep.
False start. Offense number 22. A 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Doug Martin, the rookie, with the penalty.
Yeah, he flinched. He knew it too. At the end of the play, he had his head down. Rookie mistake.
He'll come out, as it'll be 1st and 15 outside the 25. Ben and Jackson, the wide receivers, and they'll both split out to the left side. Fake the end around to Ben. Now Freeman looking for a receiver. Fires for Ben. Incomplete. Nice job by Minnesota's Antoine Winfield to stay home and make the play.
Brad, they were looking to take a shot there. That was really interesting. They wanted Eric Lorig, the fullback. Believe it or not, they're going to take Lorig and run him in a wheel route after they fake the reverse. Fake inside. There's the fake to Aurelius Ben, and here's the route they wanted. That's great coverage by the Vikings. They were in zone, well disciplined by Alan Williams' bunch on the defensive back end, and Winfield breaks up the throw to Ben.
Not sure Lorig thought he was going to be the primary receiver so much tonight. 2nd and 15. Freeman throws another one-hopper, incompletes, intended for Mike Williams. That'll be 3rd down and long.
Another disconnect between quarterback and wide receiver. Vikings really happy with Chris Cook and his development. Mike Sullivan, the former quarterbacks coach of the New York Giants, made an interesting comparison last night to the development of Josh Freeman with the development of Eli Manning. And I thought it was kind of, he said in 2010, Eli came off a season where he threw a lot of interceptions and had a chip on his shoulder. He felt like this kid was very similar in the offseason.
9th play of the drive, but 3rd down and a whole bunch. Freeman, pressure from the backside. Pocket collapsing. He'll take off and slide to a stop around the 20. And the Vikings will force another field goal attempt.
Yeah, really good pressure by Robinson and the defensive tackle that side, Kevin Williams, forced him out of the pocket. I was starting to talk about Robinson earlier out of Texas. He came here as a special teams player, and that's all he did. Then they worked him into the sub package, and he developed into a pretty good pass rusher. And now he's developed into the full-time starter, and that's what I mean by the progression of a middle-round draft pick who's turning into a starter, become a good football player.
Barth 35 straight from 40 and in. This one is from 40. And he's perfect again. Tampa Bay adds 3 more. Minnesota's dug themselves a hole. Tampa Bay on the road trying to snap a long road losing streak, and they're off to a pretty good start. 13-0 Bucks. There's our man, Taekwon Underwood. I'm telling you, you could land a small helicopter on that hairdo.
He's like 6'7" with that do, and I think he runs 4.19 without it.
Percy Harvin,
Uh-oh.
will he get a shot? Nope.
Nope.
Back of the end zone again, and Minnesota has to start again at its own 20-yard line with 12:20 remaining in the first half. Doug Martin's been sensational so far. The rookie tailback with a big run that set up a field goal. Freeman mixing it up. 6 different receivers among those 7 completions. Christian Ponder, 1 completion, and then Jerome Simpson fumbled it after he caught it.
Yep.
So 13-0 Tampa Bay, and Minnesota has done nothing on offense so far.
You know, Minnesota's fortunate it's only 13.
You're right.
They were in the red zone 3 times.
Adrian Peterson's had a couple runs of double digits, but that's about it. Quick throw on a screen to Percy Harvin. Harvin with a blocker in front. Percy's down the sideline inside the 50. And finally Minnesota comes up with a big play on offense. Pickup of 32.
I think it was Michael Jenkins that got the key block at the point of attack. Bubble screen to Harvin. You've got to get the football in his hands. The fake. Now look at 84 out in front right there. That's the key block. And then look at Matt Khalil, 75. There's the first block right here. Beautiful. Now once you get up in the hole, look at Khalil, the first-round pick. He's running 4.95 and getting a block 30 yards down the field.
Minnesota in Tampa Bay territory. Peterson inside the 40, down to the 37.
That's a pretty good one-on-one tackle by Rondé Barber, because, you know, the Red Sea's parted and Adrian Peterson's coming downhill on top of Rondé Barber. Watch him get here and watch Rondé one-on-one. Really good block by Charles Johnson. Rondé Barber one-on-one in the open field. That's a veteran right there. That's a heck of a tackle by Rondé Barber. Adrian Peterson in his career averaging 4.8 a carry. He's had 3 runs of 11 yards in this first half. Here's a slant, and that's blown up as Ponder goes down trying to make the throw. Now I think they're going to get Roy Miller with a hand to Ponder's face. It wasn't vicious, but you know how we're protecting quarterbacks these days in the NFL.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 90. Contact to the head and neck area of the quarterback.
You see number 90, Roy Miller, the left hand right there to the face mask. Anytime you get up around a quarterback's helmet, it's going to get called. Again, not vicious, but that's going to get called 100% of the time. So a quick pass to Percy Harvin that he turns into a big play. Adrian Peterson for 11 yards, and now a penalty's got the Vikings set up at the Tampa Bay 22-yard line. Their deepest penetration of the first half. Play action bootleg. Ponder throws complete. Ellison, the tight end's got it inside the 20. Pick up a 5. Ellison's one of my favorite people that Minnesota drafted this year. By the way, they've had a really good draft, but Ellison, who was a 4th-round pick out of USC, I call him a point of attack player. Doesn't matter whether he's lined up at fullback, tight end, H-back. If you follow him, you're probably going to come to the football. He does all the dirty work, and he does it well. 2nd down and 5. Minnesota in the red zone for the first time tonight. Peterson trying to break a tackle in the backfield and lost a yard that time. In fact, he lost a couple, but he doesn't lose many. And as I mentioned, in his career, a brilliant career that has him as Minnesota's all-time leading rusher. Look at some of the guys in NFL history that he's in the same league with. Joe Perry, Barry Sanders, and Jim Brown, who we mentioned twice tonight. Jim, if you're watching, you're making the broadcast on Thursday Night Football. Let's face it, he earned it. That's right, he did. Kidding me? This is the biggest 3rd down of the ball game for the Vikings. 3rd down and 6. Interesting matchup here. The safety Barron on the tight end Rudolph. Ponder, the fade to the corner. Caught. Harvin, touchdown. Better matchup there. This is Percy Harvin out of the slot. He's on Eric Wright. Man coverage. Man-to-man coverage. The outside receiver is going to squat, giving him all the room to go to the corner. Ball's thrown perfectly over Eric Wright and drops it in the bucket over the shoulder. Nice catch. Wonderful concentration, and Brad Nessler I think we've got a football game.
I believe you're correct, sir. Extra point from Blair Walsh upcoming. Kick is good. The Minnesota offense comes to life in the second quarter and goes 80 yards in 5 plays in 2 minutes and 41 seconds. And number 12, Percy Harvin, on the end for his 3rd touchdown catch of the year. 13-7 Buccaneers. The Bucs wanted Eric Wright on Percy Harvin. They got him.
I love the pre-snap recognition. Single high safety. He knows he's got man coverage out here, and you're going to take advantage of Percy Harvin on right. Got the whole half of the field to work with, so the pre-snap recognition by the quarterback was great. The throw was even better, and I love the concentration by Harvin to finish the play.
That's the longest touchdown pass for Ponder this year. Hadn't had one over 15 yards. That one 18 yards to put the Vikings back in it. Walsh kick. This one is returnable. Well, maybe not. Going to a knee is Ben, and they'll bring it out to the 20. So Freeman, who's got a touchdown pass to his credit tonight, has been answered by Christian Ponder now. And the Tampa Bay lead cut to 6. Jared Allen and company in their track stances. Play action. Freeman throws it. It's batted down by Robinson for the 3rd time tonight.
Brian Robinson is just having a night here. Again, it's going to be play action. Robinson has great discipline. Keeps his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage. I remember him at the combine. He had a great vertical, and he shows it to you right there.
He's going to catch one of these if Freeman keeps throwing it in his direction.
It's like that J.J. Watt interception in the playoff game last year against Houston.
Robinson had 3 sacks in Minnesota's win over Arizona last week. Tonight he's got 3 batted down passes. Martin, did he get popped in the hole by Jasper Brinkley.
Really nice job by the linebacker coming downhill. Boy, he did a great job getting off Carl Nix. There's an energy in the building now, Brad.
Yes, there is.
You know, 13-0. Everybody's sitting on their stools there, and now people are going crazy.
Josh Freeman has missed 4 of his last 5 passes. You saw what they have done on their first 4 possessions, and now Minnesota hoping it's another punt coming up. 3rd down and 7.
Now you know Minnesota's bringing pass rush right now. I'd be alert screen.
Freeman, quick heat, and there it was, and it's incomplete.
You know, if you're Ware, the tailback, DJ Ware, you got to get a little better piece of the defensive end to give your quarterback time. He's going to chip and get out to the flat for the screen. Okay, so here's Ware. When you chip, you got to get a piece to give your quarterback a chance. Jared Allen comes so quickly. Freeman's got to throw the football, and they're not ready for that little tailback peekaboo screen.
Marcus Sherrills waits on Cannon's punt. Flags down immediately. Sherrills trying to return this. Weaves his way down the sideline. Nice return. But again, penalty markers on the play as he got it out to the 38-yard line. 54-yard punt, but 19 yards on the return.
He's so quick. He had a 77-yard touchdown return against Detroit that was a key play in the game and helped them beat the Lions.
They had a kickoff and a punt return in that game.
That's right.
During the kick, personal foul, number 20 went out of bounds and blocked the opponent. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Once.
8:37. First half. Minnesota trailing. They'll have the ball when we come back. Well, a penalty on Minnesota backs them way up inside their own 15-yard line.
It's Chris Cook, number 20, working on Leonard Johnson. Once Johnson goes out of bounds, you can't touch him. Right there. That's a penalty. You give the shove, it's a good call. You've got to allow him to re-enter the field of play, and then you can attack him.
Vikings lost over 30 yards due to that penalty, and they start at their own 13. Ponder, quick throw out in the flat again. Percy Harvin got it out to the 18. Now they're using that little swing pass. Anything they can do to get it in number 12's hands.
You've got to find creative ways to get the football to him. We talked to offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave yesterday, and he's averaging 10 touches a game outside of the kick game. And it's got to be at least 10 the way I look at it. They line him up at tailback. They've gotten the football to him out wide. He's easily one of the most explosive players in the National Football League.
Second down at 6 at the 8-minute mark, second quarter. Rudolph switches over to the right side. He hasn't caught a ball yet tonight. Deep ball by Ponder to the sideline. Incomplete. Simpson would have been out of bounds had he been able to hold on to it.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson's got to do a better job of pass protection. He let Mark Barron right into the face of the quarterback. The ball was really well thrown.
Sure was.
Simpson lets it goes right through the window. Watch Peterson here. That's a safety. You can't let him cross your face inside and affect your quarterback.
And even with that, on the second look, he should have had it.
Yeah, he should have had it. The trick would have been staying in bounds, but that was a remarkably accurate throw for a quarterback under pressure.
So third down at 6, and Ponder in the gun. And here come the Buccaneers. Ponder throws out in the flat to Percy Harvin. He's got a first down out near the 30.
You know what? That time, Adrian Peterson does a heck of a job in pass protection. They've got an overload here. Watch Peterson cross the face of the quarterback, pick up the blitz, and allow the quarterback Ponder to get rid of the football. There's Mark Barron. He picks him up. It allows the quarterback to step into the pocket and deliver an accurate pass. And once again, it's number 12 on the receiving end of it.
He's part of a bunch package up on the right-hand side, but it's back to Adrian Peterson spinning his way. Lost the ball. Tampa's got it, I think. Peterson on that last spin move trying to get some extra yardage, and he lost the football, and the Buccaneers have it.
Yeah, it's Rondé Barber, I think, who's stripping him at the end of this play. Really well blocked by Sullivan, the center. Now watch Barron with the hit. Here comes the spin, and 20 right there. You see him? That's exactly it. Rondé Barber rips it out with his right hand. Wow. 2 turnovers by the Vikings, and that's the one thing Adrian Peterson has improved since he's been in the league, is he was a fumbler his first couple years, and he's largely taken care of that.
So an opportunity here for the Bucs, and you see what Mike was talking about. He's really done a good job of holding on to the ball recently, and they're going to take a shot, maybe. Nope, they come down and check down to the wide receiver, who's Doug Martin, actually the tailback, and it's incomplete. So again, with Tampa Bay starting in Minnesota territory, the Vikings right now are hoping they can either come up with a stop or force another field goal.
Yeah, the turnover differential, more than any other statistic in all of football besides points scored, is the most relevant. Vikings have lost 2 fumbles already.
They came in -1, and Tampa Bay was +4, and that's continuing to go that way.
Exactly. Ironic that the team that's 5-2 is -1 in the turnover differential.
Second down at 10. Here's a stretch play to Martin. Got through the first wave. Down the sideline is Martin, and he's got a first down near the 20-yard line.
Stretch play, your tackle's got to make a block, which is Donald Penn here, and then you're going to see the fullback Laurie come over also. Donald Penn does a nice job kicking out Griffin. The correct cut is made into the hole. There's the acceleration through the tackle by Chad Greenway, who's a pretty good tackler. Look how strong he is. Runs through the arm tackle. I'm really impressed with this young man.
Me too. Gets it down to the 21. Tampa Bay with a first down. 6:40 remaining in the half. Looking to add to their 6-point lead. Play action. Freeman over the middle. Got his fullback, or rather his tight end, Dallas Clark. And Clark with a catch inside the 10. Another first down.
A little play action pop pass. They go play action to the left, and then the tight end comes right down here behind the linebackers and in front of Harrison Smith. As soon as those linebackers take 2 steps up, it's all over, and Smith comes late and he's got to make a better hit than that. See, he throws the shoulder pads at him, but you got to wrap up and make a hit.
Dallas Clark gets it down after 9 years with the Colts. First and goal for Martin, and he's down to the 2.
And they're chewing him up.
Chad Greenway made the tackle, but Tampa Bay, their offense in gear and looking to add more after that fumble by Adrian Peterson.
Carl Nix, the left guard they acquired in the offseason, got up the field to the 2nd level. Laurie got a block again, the fullback, and they're just chopping them up.
3rd red zone drive tonight. They've already got 10 points in the red zone. Martin, their rookie's got 93 yards on the ground. He's in there behind the fullback Lorig on 2nd down and goal. Clark in motion. It's Martin behind Lorig, and he doesn't get there. Might have lost a yard. Fred Evans, Submarines in there to make the stop.
You called it exactly right. Fred Evans is going to beat the guard, Carl Nix. Really tough for Nix to get the cutoff block right here, and a good job by Fred Evans. Explodes through, stays on his feet even though he's being held. He causes the play to be made.
This place is going to get really noisy right here on 3rd down and goal, and it'll either get quiet quickly and it'll mean a Tampa Bay touchdown, or if Minnesota's defense holds and forces a field goal, it'll stay noisy.
They're letting the clock wind down. Timeout they're going to call, I believe.
Tampa Bay takes its 2nd timeout. They'll have a 3rd down and goal, trying to take advantage of Adrian Peterson's fumble when we come back. You think about all the interceptions and sacks Rondé Barber's had over his 16-year career, and he's got 2 forced fumbles in this first half. The most recent stripping Adrian Peterson of the ball and giving the Buccaneers another opportunity to score. They've worked their way down to the 3-yard line. That's where we are right now, 3rd and goal, Tampa Bay. Freeman has thrown a short touchdown pass to the fullback Lorig tonight. And their other 2 drives ended in field goals. Minnesota hoping to force another field goal here. Freeman asking for the football. Finally gets it. Looks to Williams in the corner. Got it. Touchdown. Wow.
What a great throw and catch. And I love that Freeman identified the single receiver on the backside. Look at him go up and out jump the rookie corner, both feet down. Does he control it through the ground? That was Josh Robinson, the rookie from Central Florida, and Mike Williams. That's a great catch. And I love the throw by Josh Freeman.
So they do take advantage of the fumble and about to make it 20-7 with 4.5 minutes remaining in the half. Minnesota, with the way Christian Ponder's been struggling, not built to be a big come from behind team, but they're going to have to do that in this quarter and the 2nd half as well.
I think they still have to be patient, Brad. You know, I mean, there's plenty of time left in this football game. And again, what I like by Josh Freeman here is, look, they've got 3 receivers up top. He's got a guaranteed one-on-one down the bottom against a rookie from the University of Central Florida. And I love the fact that A, he identified it, and B, it was a great throw and catch.
Couldn't do it much better. Connor Barth in for the point after. High snap. Somebody got a piece of that, and he still got the extra point to go through. Tampa Bay with 10 points off 2 Minnesota turnovers. And they only had to go a short distance, 37 yards, following that fumble in 6 plays to get the touchdown.
That AFC West, man, wide open, huh?
No kidding. There's only 3 teams in the AFC that even have plus 500 records, and there's 3 teams just in Minnesota's division, the Packers and the Bears involved, that are on the plus side of 500 just in one division.
People ask me all the time, you know, who's the best team in the NFL right now, and I tell them I have no idea. I don't know who the best team is. I don't know who the worst team is. They're the 3 teams in the AFC with a winning record. After that, it's a lot of mediocrity. And Brad, I think a team's going to get healthy and hot at the appropriate time and go on a run like Green Bay and New York have the last couple of years.
The Falcons, the only perfect team remaining at 6-0, coming off a bye. They play the Eagles in one of the big games on Sunday. And again, no opportunity for a kick return for Percy Harvin. So Adrian Peterson comes out with a determined look on his face after putting the football on the ground, courtesy of Rondé Barber, and I'm sure he'd like to make amends for that here in the next 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think there's a trap here, and that is, I think Minnesota's got to be careful with the football, and they've got to be patient. Plenty of time left in the game. You're only down 13 points. Tampa Bay's at 2-14. You know, and if you continue to throw the football away like that, you're going to lose a football game. But just calm down. Play your game.
And don't turn it over in your own territory, which they've done both times tonight. Peterson spins to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Gerald McCoy still holding on to him. We'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
That spin move is a patent of Adrian Peterson, but it's also dangerous when you're spinning. The ball can get stripped if you're not really aware of it, and that's what Rondé Barber's done.
Peterson hasn't caught a pass yet tonight, but he's been catching the ball well this year. 22 catches coming in.
Couldn't wait to tell you his hands were good in his entire career, not just this year.
I mentioned that to him, and his eyes lit up. Pump fake. Ponder takes a shot. Incomplete, intended for Simpson.
Yeah, I didn't like the decision there. Red Ellison wide open.
That brings up 3rd down and 10. The last thing the Vikings want to do is give it back to Tampa Bay before halftime. There's Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator.
He's got a delicate maintenance situation with a young quarterback who hasn't played real well the last 3 weeks. Started out poorly tonight. He's got to work some confidence into this young man, allow him to get some completions.
Harbin's got a couple of catches on 3rd down so far tonight. Over the middle, this one's Rudolph, the tight end, for the 1st down. His first catch of the night is a big one.
Really nice job from a protection perspective. The center, John Sullivan's going to turn this to the left, and they're going to pick up the blitz, the overload blitz to the left. The quarterback, Ponder, trusts the protection, and he waits. There's his guy right there. Nice job by Ponder and his offensive line identifying the blitz and then taking advantage of it.
Now the Vikings go back to a 2 tight end set on 1st down with Adrian Peterson putting his head down and getting out to the 37. Quincy Black, the outside linebacker, made the hit. But it's good for 5 more.
Interesting when you're in that building and you're asking people about that 1st round pick, Matt Khalil.
Yeah.
And unanimously, what you hear from coaches and players is they think he's having a Pro Bowl type season.
That's hard to do at left tackle as a rookie.
Oh, man. I mean, we talk about baptism by fire. Every week you got somebody across from you who runs 4.5.
Play action. Oh, no chance for Ponder that time. Wow. He barely took 2 steps back.
Remember I talked about that slanting line and that front of what they do. Here's Daniel Teoneshian right here, and he's going to cross the face of Khalil. See him jump into the gap at the end. Johnson turns down. Khalil's late. That's a pass protection bust right there, and the quarterback pays the price.
And the first sack for the Buccaneers defense in the last 10 quarters. They haven't had a sack since September. They had a big one there. Pressure coming on Ponder again. He's going to load and fire for Simpson. He's got it. Simpson went up and got it. 1st down, Minnesota.
I want to see if he possesses this all the way through. I love the slide to the left by Ponder. And then the ability of Simpson to elevate. Look at the catch. Does he have it all the way through? He's fighting. He's got. I think that's going to stand. Remember Simpson when he was with Cincinnati had that acrobatic flip that everybody showed 20,000 times? Well, that's the residue of his vertical leap, which is really impressive.
A 33-yard pickup, a huge one to keep the Minnesota drive alive and their hopes of scoring before halftime. 2-minute warning in Minneapolis.
Rich Eisen getting set for the halftime program. And Melissa Stark chat with RG3, and we mine week 8 for upset specials. This one not included. Brad.
All right, Rich, thanks. 2 minutes. We'll see you guys. Minnesota driving. A couple of big 3rd down throws by Christian Ponder on this drive has set the Vikings up at the Tampa Bay 37. Going to flare one out. Percy Harvin incomplete.
They're staring each other down right there. Ponder made a bad throw. I think he was concerned that if he threw it at him, it was going to be a lateral. But I don't care. You got to give him the football. That's just a bad throw right there.
I think Ponder's the first to agree with you. So it brings up 2nd down at 10. Ponder in this drive, though, on those 3rd downs. On a 3rd and 10, he found his tight end for 12. And then Simpson on a 3rd and 12, good for 33.
Yeah, they need to finish it with points, though.
Harvin in motion to the slot on the right-hand side. Ponder's got to get rid of it. Got it. Adrian Peterson on the screen, but he's dragged out of bounds. Short gain. That's going to bring up 3rd down.
really an ideal play call for the blitz that Tampa came with. Rondé Barber comes off the edge. They're going to bring Peterson across and get it to him quickly. Now, if Charlie Johnson gets the block right out in front, right there on 58, Quincy Black, you have a chance for a big play. As it is, they still pick up significant yards.
How about how many big plays Rondé Barber's got at age 37 in this half already?
A future Hall of Famer. I mean, you got to love him.
3rd down and 6. Big play for Minnesota. Ponder hit from behind as he lets it fly. And Percy Harvin has it stolen away from him by Leonard Johnson. But he's out of bounds.
And by the way, your guy Rondé Barber made a huge hit on Ponder on another blitz. Number 29, Leonard Johnson, the rookie from Iowa State. Keeps the play alive. Look at the right hand on the football. That is a phenomenal play for an undrafted rookie.
Blair Walsh will come in to try a 51-yard field goal. He's 16 out of 17 on the season, including a 55-yarder earlier this year that won Minnesota a ball game. This one's on the way, and he's got plenty of leg. And the Vikings get 3 with 1:40 remaining in the half. Well, that was big. They wanted a touchdown, but they'll take any points they can get right now. You gotta love it when you've got a rookie kicker that you can count on. And Mark Richt would like to have Blair Walsh and Drew Butler back in Athens, I think. One, the starting punter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now Blair Walsh here tonight. And 51-yarder, at least that keeps him in balance. And you said don't panic. It's only a 10-point game.
And I thought you made a really good point about the 3rd down conversions that Christian Ponder hit there. And by the way, that last throw that Percy Harvin didn't come up with was another well-thrown football while he was getting hit in the back by a blitzing Rondé Barber. So I'm impressed that Ponder's come back. Rough start, but they're staying in the football game.
Well, we'll see if Tampa Bay has got enough time to try to add more points before halftime. They have only 1 timeout remaining, but that guy has had an unbelievable first half. Pretty sure there's not a better 37-year-old player in the NFL. There aren't too many 37-year players, even if you're a kicker.
I mean, they got a 35-year-older on the other side with Minnesota and Antoine Winfield. I think they've both found the fountain of youth.
Blair Walsh, who just hit the long field goal, sends this one to Ben, and he'll take a knee, and Tampa Bay will come out to the 20-yard line. We talked about rookie kickers, this guy being one of the impressive ones, and look at what some of the other guys have done.
Wow.
Zerline, who had a 60-plus yard kick, and Justin Tucker, the Ravens, 4 for 4. That's a pretty good year for young kickers.
I'm amazed at the accuracy right now league-wide over 50 yards. It's getting to the point. Remember years ago, Brad, they moved the post back, then they tightened the goal post up. It's 18 feet 6 inches between the pipes now, and at some point you might have to consider making it even narrower.
This year, 50-plus yard field goals, 67% have been good. This guy's been good in the first half, too.
Man.
Martin, another 10-yard run.
You're not kidding.
So with that run, he's over 100 in the first half, 103 for Martin. Freeman over the middle, wide open is Martin. Martin trying to get away from Greenway, won't be able to, but he does get about 7 on the reception.
Tampa only has 1 timeout left. Look at Doug Martin.
Put your name in with Warwick Dunn and you're in some good company. Freeman fires, has a dangerous pass intended for Underwood. I'm not sure he liked Underwood's route, but Antoine Winfield very close to making a play there.
Yeah, I said to Winfield the other day at practice, I watched this tape on Sunday, thought he was phenomenal. And I said, what's the deal with your fountain of youth? He said, you know, these coaches are allowing me to rest all week. The only day I really practice hard is Thursday.
Right.
He said, my legs feel great, and I got my quickness back.
Not saying he's been around a long time, but his son's a freshman playing high school football. Draw play to Martin. Allen give a chase. Whoa, a hurry job, and he got peppered by Harrison Smith at the end of that play.
That was a pretty good stiff arm by the rookie tailback on Jared Allen. Watch the right arm dart out and catch 69 Allen right there.
Yep.
Bang, get off me. And then the effort at the end, jumping over Chris Cook and into Harrison Smith. If it was a defensive player, we'd be calling that one a face mask, partner.
Yep. And Harrison Smith will put a lick on you.
Oh, yeah. He's got the suspensions and the fines to prove it. I was teasing him the other day in practice, like, are you ever going to finish a game and not get fined, or what's the deal?
He's just living large, loving football.
He really is. Kid loves the game of football. They traded back up into the first round to get him, and he's paid huge dividends.
So 4th down at a yard. And the Buccaneers bring out their punting unit. Michael Kanan, who's had some big kicks tonight, and he's kept it basically away from Sherrills, who had a nice return the last time he touched it, but the penalty on Cook negated that return. I would think if it's any kind of return for Minnesota, that would dictate what they do with the next 38 seconds.
Yep.
A little pressure on the punter that time. This one's fielded at the 9 by Sherrills. Looking for a block on the edge. Works his way back to the middle of the field where he took a pretty good shot around the 25-yard line.
It's a brutal game, man.
Can hear the pads popping way up here.
Yep.
And so now there's just 25 seconds remaining. Minnesota does have one timeout.
I wouldn't expect to see them try to do anything other than maybe a little check down, something safe, see if you can bust something, get it in Peterson or Harvin's hands. Or, Brad, it wouldn't even surprise me if they took a knee and jogged it in.
They've got Gerhardt out there right now, so that might be what they're going to do. Toby Gerhardt behind Ponder. 25 seconds remaining. Does have 3 wideouts. And Rudolph, the tight end, on the move. They fake it to Gerhardt. Bootleg. Ponder looks downfield and almost threw an interception intended for Simpson. Eric Wright got his hands on it.
You know, that one bothers me, Brad, okay? And you almost have to take the ball out of his hands at this point. You called it right. It's a bootleg. Fake this way, come back the other way. Look at Percy Harvin. He's wide open. Give it to him. Instead, you're trying to make a bigger play, and you almost get it picked off. That's a horrible decision right there. And if I'm the head coach, I'm deflating the football right now. That's it.
125. We're good. That's ready. We're done.
Gerhardt, consider it deflated. Fans don't like it.
That was the right call, though, after that last pass.
So the Vikings on their home field trailing by 10 at halftime. End of the first half. Buccaneers 20, Vikings 10. Stay tuned. Rich and the guys will have the Lexus halftime show coming up in a minute.
Mike Williams with a toe.